bottle shattered against the wall inches from my head, shards of glass exploding like brittle stars across the polished hardwood floor of my own flagship restaurant. "Get out, you freak!" the man I'd loved for 3 years screamed. His face twisted in rage I'd never seen before, eyes wild with something darker than betrayal, pure, venomous hate. In that frozen heartbeat, as the last echoes died and the room held its collective breath, I realized the life I'd built on whispers and hidden touches was crumbling, and the man at the center of it all was the one swinging the wrecking ball. I remember the exact moment it all unraveled, but let's back up just a fraction because that's how these things go in New York. Fast, unforgiving, and with the kind of dramatic flair that could make a Broadway producer weep. My name's Alex Harper, and at 34, I'd clawed my way from a kid bussing tables in a greasy Queens diner to CEO of Harper's Hearth, a chain of upscale bistros that dotted the Manhattan skyline like jewels on a velvet throat. We weren't just restaurants, we were sanctuaries, exposed brick walls warmed by Edison bulbs, menus that whispered farm-to-table secrets, and a vibe that said, "Here you're seen, really seen." Or at least, that's what I told myself when I signed the leases and hired the teams. What I didn't advertise in the glossy Forbes profiles was the part where I was gay, deeply and unapologetically, but still navigating the corporate closet like it was a minefield. Coming out? Sure, to my inner circle, but to the board? To the investors who clutched their pearls at anything that smelled like risk? Not yet. Timing, they called it. Cowardice, my therapist whispered. And then there was Jordan. God, Jordan. The head chef at my crown jewel, the original Hearth on West 57th. We'd met 5 years ago at a food expo in Brooklyn, me, the wide-eyed entrepreneur pitching my vision. Him, this brooding Adonis with tattooed forearms and a smile that could melt steel. He was everything I wasn't. Bold, unfiltered, the kind of guy who wore his queerness like a badge, flipping off the haters with a wink. Our first kiss happened in the walk-in fridge of that expo hall, surrounded by crates of heirloom tomatoes, his hands tasting of basil and promise. By year 2, we were engaged, quietly, of course. A simple band on my finger, hidden under suits, and dreams of a future where we could shout it from the rooftops. Or at least from a rooftop bar in Chelsea. That's why, on that crisp October evening in 2025, I decided to play tourist in my own kingdom. The board had been breathing down my neck about authenticity audits. Fancy talk for, make sure the staff isn't slacking while you're jetting to Napa for wine tastings. So I traded my tailored Tom Ford for a faded hoodie, scuffed Levi's, and a baseball cap pulled low. No entourage, no reservations. Just me, Alex Harper, incognito diner, slipping into Hearth like any other soul seeking solace after a long day. The place was humming. Clink of crystal glasses, murmur of laughter from a corner booth of finance bros, the sizzle from the open kitchen where Jordan held court. I could smell him before I saw him, the faint spice of his cologne cutting through the rosemary air. I slid onto a stool at the bar, nodding to Mia, the bartender I'd hired straight out of bartending school. She was all wide eyes and efficiency, pouring me a neat bourbon without a word. "Rough day?" she asked, sliding it over with a sympathetic tilt. "You have no idea," I muttered, taking a sip that burned just right. From my perch, I had a perfect view of the kitchen pass. There he was, Jordan, in his crisp white jacket, barking orders with that magnetic swagger. His dark hair tousled just so, sleeves rolled up to show the ink I traced with my fingers 100 nights. My chest tightened with that familiar ache. Love, pride, the quiet fear that one day it'd all slip away. But tonight was recon. I'd eat, observe, vanish. Simple. The specials board caught my eye. Seared scallops with forbidden rice, a Jordan original. I ordered it, along with a side of eavesdropping. The bar crowd was lively. A young couple on a first date, her giggling at his bad puns. An older woman nursing a martini, scrolling her phone with a wistful smile. Normal. Human. That's what I loved about this place. It was a mosaic of lives intersecting over plates of perfection. Then the door swung open again, admitting a gust of autumn chill and a man who looked like he'd stepped out of a casting call for trust fund villain. Tall, blonde, with the kind of jawline that screamed old money and the suit to match Brioni, if I wasn't mistaken. He scanned the room like he owned it, which, in a way, he did. Ethan Caldwell, venture capitalist extraordinaire. The guy who'd sunk a cool 10 mil into Hearth's expansion last year. I'd wined and dined him, closed the deal over steak tartare and single malts. He was straight as an arrow, married to his Wharton Trophy wife, but sharp enough to spot opportunity from across a room. And tonight, his opportunity was staring right back from the kitchen. Ethan bellied up to the bar 2 stools down, flashing Mia a grin that probably closed deals on its own. Evening gorgeous. Whatever's strongest, make it a double. His voice was all honeyed gravel, the kind that masked barbs. Mia obliged, and he turned his gaze to the kitchen, where Jordan was plating a dish with surgical precision. "Harper's boy wonder back there," Ethan said, loud enough for me to hear, nodding toward Jordan. "Heard he's got the Midas touch. Or is it something else?" He chuckled low and knowing, like he was in on a joke the rest of us weren't. Mia shrugged, polite but distant. "Chef's the best. You eating tonight, sir?" Ethan waved her off. "Nah, just here to chat." He slid off his stool, sauntering toward the kitchen like a shark scenting blood. I watched, heart picking up tempo, as he leaned over the pass, all casual entitlement. "Jordan, my man. Long time." Jordan looked up, wiping his hands on a towel, his smile automatic but tight. "Ethan, didn't know you were in town. Table for one." Ethan clapped him on the shoulder. "Too familiar, too lingering. Better. How about that private tasting we talked about? You, me, the wine locker. Close up shop early." His tone dipped, suggestive, and something in my gut twisted like a knife. Jordan laughed it off, but there was an edge. "Busy night, man. Rain check." Ethan didn't budge. "Come on. Live a little. Alex Harper's got you on a short leash." "Huh? That control freak CEO always micromanaging from his ivory tower. Bet he doesn't know how to loosen up like we do." The name hit me like ice water. My name. On his lips, casual poison. Jordan's face flickered. Surprise? Amusement. Before he recovered. "Alex? He's the boss. Keeps the lights on." Ethan leaned in closer, voice dropping to a conspiratorial murmur that carried anyway in the relative quiet. "Boss, sure. But between us, word on the street is he's, you know, one of those. And you're his golden boy. How's that work? He footing the bill for your little hobbies?" I froze, glass halfway to my lips. The bar noise faded to a dull roar in my ears. Jordan's jaw clenched, but he didn't correct him. Didn't defend me. Instead, he glanced away, toward the expediting station, where a busboy was stacking plates. "It's business, Ethan. Nothing more." "Business," Ethan echoed, smirking. "Right? Well, if you ever want to talk real opportunities, away from the boss's shadow, my card's on the bar." He straightened, tossing a 20 on the counter like alms to the poor, and strode out, the door chiming his exit like a mocking bell. I sat there, bourbon turning sour in my mouth, watching Jordan. He exhaled sharply, muttering something under his breath that sounded like asshole, then dove back into the weeds. But the seed was planted. Doubt. The kind that festers. My scallops arrived, artfully plated, but I poked at them like they were evidence in a crime scene. Mia hovered. "Everything okay?" "Fine." I lied, forcing a bite. Flavor exploded, citrus, heat, perfection. Jordan's genius. Our genius once. We'd spent nights in test kitchens, laughing over failed reductions, his head on my shoulder as we dreamed big. Now it felt like theft. The evening wore on. The couple left arm in arm. The older woman paid her tab with a sigh. I nursed my drink, eyes glued to Jordan. He moved like poetry, but every laugh he shared with the sous chef, every nod to a server, felt like a betrayal by proxy. Ethan's words looped in my head. One of those, as if loving a man made me less, as if Jordan agreed. By 10, the rush ebbed. I signaled for the check, but instead of Mia, Jordan emerged from the kitchen, towel slung over his shoulder, that smile dialed up to 11. How's the special? Be honest. I tweaked the yuzu. I pulled the cap lower, voice roughened. Killer. You're a wizard. He grinned, leaning on the bar. Flattery? From a stranger? Careful, I might comp your meal. We bantered light, easy, the way strangers do when there's a spark. But under it, my pulse thrummed with the lie. This was my place. My man. And yet, here I was, invisible. Then it happened. The door burst open again, Ethan back with two burly types in ill-fitting suits, the kind of muscle you hire when your ego outpaces your sense. Change of plans, Jordan. He bellowed, voice slurring just enough to betray the flask in his coat. We're doing that tasting. Now. Jordan straightened. All business. Ethan, I said, rain check. We're closing soon. Ethan's face darkened, the blonde hair catching the light like a halo on a devil. Don't play coy. I know your type, climbing on Harper's coattails. Think you're hot shit? That prissy CEO's got you whipped. Probably cries into his kale smoothies when you don't text back. The bar went pin-drop silent. Mia's hand froze mid-wipe. Servers paused in the shadows. Jordan's eyes narrowed. Watch your mouth. But Ethan was on a roll, whiskey bravery loosening his tongue. Or what? You'll run to your boyfriend? Oh wait. Is that the rumor? You two playing house in the penthouse? Disgusting. This city's going to hell, and places like this? Ruined by freaks like you. The word landed like the bottle would later. Sharp. Shattering. Freak. Directed at us. And me hidden in plain sight. Jordan's face. My Jordan. Flushed, but not with anger. Shame? Defiance flickered, then died. Get out, he said, voice low, trembling. Before I call security. Ethan laughed, a bark that echoed off the rafters. Security? In Harper's little fairy tale? Call him. Tell him his chef's too busy batting for the other team to cook straight. That did it. Jordan's hand shot out, grabbing a half-empty wine bottle from the pass. Cabernet, deep red like blood, and hurled it. Not at Ethan, thank God, but at the wall behind him, inches from my head as I twisted on the stool. Glass rained. Wine splattered like tears on the floor. Get the fuck out, Jordan roared, the man I'd proposed to in Central Park at dawn. Now a stranger in chef's whites, eyes blazing with a hate that wasn't even his own. Ethan stumbled back, his goons tensing, but the shock held them. You're done, Jordan. Done. He spat, literally a glob landing near my boot. Then they were gone, the door slamming like a guillotine. The room exhaled. Mia rushed over with a broom, muttering apologies to no one. Servers melted into the back. And Jordan? He stood there, chest heaving, staring at the mess like he'd just murdered a dream. His gaze landed on me. Stranger at the bar, cap low, hoodie stained with a splash of wine. You, he growled, pointing, saw too much. Now. I rose slowly, heart hammering a dirge. That was uncalled for. Uncalled for? He laughed, bitter, broken. You think this is a show? This is my life you're gawking at. Our eyes locked, and for a split second, recognition flickered in his wait. No, just anger. Pure, displaced fury. Go, he whispered, turning away, shoulders slumping as the weight crashed down. I left without paying, slipping into the night where neon blurred with tears. The city swallowed me whole, but the shards stayed lodged. Glass in my hair, betrayal in my chest. That night, in my empty penthouse overlooking the Hudson, I poured a drink and stared at the ring on my finger. It glinted mockingly. Who was I protecting? This empire? Or the lie that it could hold love intact? Little did I know that was just the fracture. The real quake was coming. Dawn broke over Manhattan like a reluctant apology, painting the skyline in hesitant pinks and golds that did nothing to warm the chill in my bones. I hadn't slept, couldn't, with the replay button jammed in my head. The bottle flying, Jordan's snarl, Ethan's sneer twisting freak into a weapon. By 6 a.m., I'd showered off the wine but not the shame, dressed in armor. A charcoal Brioni suit, crisp white shirt, Ty nodded like a noose and called my driver. No more games. Today I reclaimed what was mine. But as the town car purred up to Hearth's curb, stomach knotted tighter than rush hour traffic, I wondered if mine even applied anymore. The street was quiet, delivery trucks rumbling like distant thunder, the fall leaves skittering like secrets across the sidewalk. I paused at the entrance, hand on the brass handle etched with our logo, a hearth flame curling into an infinite loop, symbolizing warmth unending. Inside, the overnight crew was prepping. A dishwasher humming Metallica under his breath. Mia restocking the bar with lemons that gleamed like tiny suns. She spotted me first, freezing mid-slice. "Mr. Harper? Early bird today." "Always," I said, forcing the CEO smile. "Coffee, black, and Mia last night. Walk me through it." Her eyes darted, then softened with that quiet empathy she'd always had. Hired her fresh out of NYU, film major turned mixologist when dreams deferred. It was intense. Ethan's a regular shark, but that, out of line. Jordan, he lost it. We cleaned up, sent everyone home. He's in the office now, probably nursing a hangover from hell. I nodded, sipping the coffee she poured. Bold, Ethiopian, just how I liked it. Good. Keep the team tight-lipped. PR handles the rest. But as she busied herself, I wandered to the kitchen. The damage was minimal. A faint wine stain on the wall, scrubbed but scarred, like a blush that wouldn't fade. The air still hummed with ghosts of last night. Garlic, regret. Voices filtered from the office door ajar. Jordan's, low and ragged, on the phone. I know. It wasn't about him. Ethan's just pushing buttons. Yeah, Alex called? Tell him I'm fine. Or don't. God, what a mess. My name, like a jolt. I pushed the door open, and there he was, Jordan, slumped in the guest chair I'd furnished with mid-century teak. Head in hands. The office was a sanctuary of sorts. Exposed beams, a mini fridge stocked with craft beers, photos of us pinned discreetly to the corkboard. One from our Napa trip, backs to the camera, hands linked in a vineyard row. He looked up, startled, phone clattering to the desk. "Alex, shit, you're here." "Surprise audit," I said, closing the door softly. The lock clicked like a heartbeat. "We need to talk." His eyes, those hazel storms I drowned in, flickered with everything. Guilt, love, fear. He stood, crossing the room in 2 strides, hands reaching for mine before pulling back. "Last night, Ethan, he's an idiot. I didn't mean." "The bottle," I cut in, voice steady as rebar. "Or the part where you let him call us freaks and didn't say a word?" He winced, raking fingers through his hair. "It happened so fast. I was protecting you. If I swung back, it'd blow up, headlines, investors pulling out. You always say timing." "Timing?" I echoed, bitter as burnt toast. "Is that what this is? Or are you tired of the shadows, Jordan? Tired of me?" He stepped closer, close enough I could smell the sleep on him, the faint cedar of his skin. "Never you. It's the world out there. The whispers. Ethan's not the first to poke at it." His hand found my arm, thumb tracing the cuff of my shirt. "Remember Portland? That investor who cornered you, asking if Hearth was that gay chain? You laughed it off. I do too. For us." I wanted to believe him. God, I did. But the doubt Ethan planted had roots now, digging deep. And when he implied we're disgusting, you threw glass instead of truth. Jordan's face crumpled, the chef's bravado cracking. "I threw it because he hit too close. Because hiding you, it's killing me. But losing this? Losing you? Worse." We stood there, inches apart, the air thick with unsaid vows. His breath ghosted my cheek, and for a moment, I leaned in, old habit, seeking solace in his warmth. Our lips brushed, tentative, a question. Then the office door rattled, Mia, calling about a vendor, and we sprang apart like teens caught necking. "Later," he murmured, eyes promising more. "Dinner? My place. We fixed this." I nodded, throat tight. "Later." But as I exited the kitchen, stealing for the day's meetings, a shadow caught my eye at the bar. A young man, early 20s, wiping down the wood with methodical care. Dark curls, olive skin, a jaw sharp enough to cut glass. He was new, or was he? Servers came and went like seasons, but this one. Theo, his name tag read. Eyes like polished obsidian. Meeting mine with a quiet intensity that said he'd seen last night's storm and hadn't flinched. "Morning, sir," he said, voice smooth as aged whiskey. No deference, just presence. "Rough start." I paused, coffee cup warm in my hand. "You could say that. You were here last night." Theo nodded, cloth pausing mid-circle. "Closed with the team. Bottles fly sometimes. People break easier than glass, though." His words landed soft but sure. No pity, just truth. Something in his gaze, understanding, unraveled a thread in me. Wise words for a busboy. He shrugged, a ghost of a smile. "Life's a better teacher than business school. I'm Theo. Front of house, mostly. If you need anything. Real talk, not just orders." I filed it away, that spark of authenticity amid the wreckage. Noted. Keep the bar shining. As I left for the office downtown. Glass tower on Park Avenue, views that mocked my vertigo. The city blurred into a smear of yellow cabs and steam vents. Emails piled up, board notes on Q4 projections, a pitch for a LA outpost. But my mind looped to Jordan's touch, Ethan's venom, Theo's steady eyes. By noon, I was in a conference room, pitching expansions to suits who nodded like bobbleheads, oblivious to the fault lines cracking beneath. That afternoon, the call came. Jordan, voice hushed. Ethan's stirring shit. Texted the staff group chat. Some bullshit about standards and professionalism. Implied last night was my fault. For, my pen snapped in my fist, ink bleeding across notes. "Forward it. I'll handle." But handling meant war. By evening, I'd lawyered up, discreet NDAs for the team, a cease and desist drafting for Ethan. No public splash. We were a brand built on discretion. Dinner at Jordan's loomed like a truce flag. His walk-up in Hell's Kitchen was our haven. Exposed pipes, herb garden on the fire escape, bed that smelled of him. I arrived with Thai takeout, Pad CEW, his favorite, and a bottle of Pinot we'd cellared together. He opened the door shirtless, apron tied low, eyes red-rimmed. "You came. Always." We ate on the couch, knees touching, dissecting the day like a menu. His laugh came easier with wine, hand finding mine. "Remember our first collab? That fusion pop-up in Bushwick? You in that ridiculous chef hat." I chuckled, tension easing. "You burned the foie, blamed the torch. Liar. You distracted me." His gaze heated, pulling me in. We kissed then. Slow, reclaiming, tongues mapping familiar paths. Hands roamed, shirts shed, but it stayed tender, a reaffirmation. No rush, no desperation. Just us, breathing life back into the embers. Later, tangled in sheets, his head on my chest, he whispered, "Marry me. For real. No more hiding." My heart swelled, fingers carding his hair. "Soon, after the funding round. Promise." But dawn brought the betrayal's ugly head. My phone buzzed at 5. An anonymous email, subject "Your chef's side hustle." Attached photos. Jordan and Ethan, arms slung in a dimly lit bar. Vesper, that speakeasy in Midtown. Lips close, hands on thighs. Timestamp, 2 nights ago. Before the bottle. Before the freak. The world tilted. I dressed in silence, slipping out as Jordan slept, the ring heavy as lead. Betrayal wasn't a word. It was a blade, twisting slow. By 9, I was back at Hearth, not as ghost but ghostwriter of my own reckoning. The team assembled, servers in black polos, kitchen in whites, faces expectant. Jordan arrived last, tousled, apologetic. "Alex, about last night." "Later," I said, voice CO cold. Then, to the room, family meeting. "We've got a leak." Eyes widened. Whispers. I projected the email. Redacted. faces blurred, but the implication hung like smoke. This ends now. Loyalty isn't optional. Neither is respect. Jordan paled, stepping forward. Alex, that's not. But Mia's phone chimed. Then Theo's. A chain reaction. Ethan's poison leaked to the press. Heartbreak. CEO's secret affair exposed? The headline screamed from Gawker's feed, twisting truth into tabloid fodder. Outed. Not on our terms. Chaos erupted. Phones ringing off the hook. A server bursting into tears. Jordan grabbed my arm. It's fake. Photoshop. Ethan, he's framing me to get to you. I yanked away, the contact burning. Prove it. He did. Later, in the office. Alibis, timestamps, a furious call to Ethan that ended in voicemails. But the damage? Irreversible. By noon, shares dipped. Investors texted panic emojis. And me? I was out. Raw, exposed. The closet door kicked wide by a man who'd sworn to guard it. That night, alone in the penthouse, I poured scotch and stared at the city lights, each one a tiny hearth flickering against the dark. Theo's words echoed. People break easier than glass. He was right, but could they mend? Little did I know, the calm before my return was building, and the lesson? It would cost everything. The scandal hit like a nor'easter off the Atlantic. Sudden, savage, stripping the city bare. By morning, Hearth's website crashed under a deluge of clicks. Half outrage, half morbid curiosity. Gay CEO's kitchen fling. Is your brunch safe? Screamed the Post's digital front page, a pixelated shot of Jordan and me, pulled from some gala red carpet, arms linked too close, plastered beside Ethan's smirking headshot. Twitter, X, whatever they called it now, ignited. Hearth hate trending alongside Lovewin's knockoffs, a digital bonfire where strangers roasted my life. My phone vibrated itself off the nightstand. Board chair demanding a call, publicists scripting denials, Jordan's texts piling like unanswered prayers. Baby, it's lies. Call me. I didn't. Instead, I showered until the water ran cold, dressed in the armor of indifference. A navy Zegna suit, no tie, top button undone like a dare, and drove myself to the office. No driver, no buffer. The streets of Midtown felt hostile. Cabs honking accusations, pedestrians glancing twice. Paranoia? Maybe. But when you're the villain in your own story, every shadow whispers complicity. The boardroom was a coliseum. Suits circled the mahogany table, faces etched with $ worry. Evelyn, the chair, a silver-haired bulldog who'd built her fortune on biotech mergers, tapped her Mont Blanc like a gavel. Alex, this is a PR apocalypse. Investors are fleeing faster than rats from a sinking ship. We need damage control. Now. Control, I echoed, sinking into the head chair. The room smelled of stale coffee and fear. This isn't damage. It's truth. Jordan and I were engaged. Have been for years. Gasps rippled subtle, but there. Tom from finance choked on his latte. Lisa from ops averted her eyes. Evelyn leaned forward, voice steel. Engaged. To the chef. And this, Ethan character? He's claiming harassment, retaliation. Says you sicked your boy toy on him. Boy toy. The phrase landed like acid. I gripped the table edge, knuckles whitening. Ethan's a predator. Leaking fakes to tank us because Jordan rebuffed him. I've got lawyers on it, digital forensics, the works. Murmurs. Nods. But Evelyn's gaze was pitying. Perception, Alex. Not fact. The market doesn't care about nuance. It cares about stability. Step back. Let PR run point. A month, maybe two. Rebrand as the comeback kid. Step back. Code for hide again. My chest tightened. The ring on my finger a shackle. No. I built this from nothing. I'm not vanishing because some venture vulture can't handle no. The vote was swift. 7-2 with me dissenting. Suspension paid, dignified, but suspension all the same. For the brand, Evelyn said, patting my hand like a child's. I left that room a CEO in name only, the elevator descent mirroring my fall. Outside, Paparazzi swarmed like locusts. Flashes popping. Questions shouted. Alex, is it true? Does Hearth cater to preferences? I pushed through, bodyguard I'd hastily called forming a human shield, but one voice cut clear. Mr. Harper, how long have you been lying to us? Lying. The word echoed Ethan's from that night. By the time I reached Hearth, it was noon, the lunch rush a madhouse. Valets double-parked, influencers snapping selfies by the awning, protesters, too, but vocal, waving signs, no freaks in our food, counter-protesters, bless them. A rainbow knot of allies chanting back. Inside, the air was thicker. Half-empty tables, whispers chasing me like smoke. Mia met me at the host stand. Apron askew. Mr. H. Alex. It's a zoo. Reservations tanked 40%, but we've got walk-ins gawking like it's a crime scene. Damage? I asked, scanning the room. Servers hustled, faces drawn. The kitchen pass thrummed with frantic energy. Jordan's holding it together. Barely. She hesitated. He asked about you. I nodded, throat dry. Send him out. And Theo. Get him too. The dining room was a battlefield of polished normalcy. Couples dissecting salads. A family toasting birthdays with sparkling cider. But undercurrents pulled. Stairs lingering too long. A bus tub clattering louder than it should. Jordan emerged minutes later. White stained with bechamel. Eyes shadowed hollows. Alex. Thank God. Not here, I murmured, steering him to a corner booth. Velvet curtains drawn for privacy. Theo arrived with waters, his presence a quiet anchor. Sit, I said to him. Your staff. Part of this. Jordan bristled. He's a kid. He's here. I snapped, the edge surprising us both. Theo sat, composed, hands folded like he was at a job interview for the soul. Talk, I said to Jordan. Everything. Now. He exhaled, glancing at Theo, wary, then resigned. Ethan's been circling for months. Pitches for partnerships. Me leaving Hearth, starting something edgier with his cash. I said no. Every time. Last week, he cornered me at Vesper, after hours post-shift drink with the team. Snuck that photo, twisted it. The email? His revenge. To flush you out, make you doubt. Doubt? I repeated, the word a bruise. You let him. That night, when he spewed hate. You stood there. Jordan's hand trembled on the table. I froze. For you. One wrong word, and it's over. Theo cleared his throat, voice even. Or it's the start. Hiding doesn't protect. It poisons. We both turned. Kid had guts. Jordan's jaw ticked. Easy for you to say. You out and proud. Theo met his gaze, unflinching. Since 16. Kicked out at 17. Bounced hostels, washed dishes in Jersey dives till I landed here. Hearth is the first place that felt like home. Not because it's perfect, but because it's real. Silence stretched, heavy as fog. I saw it then. Jordan's armor cracking, envy flashing in his eyes. The life he'd chosen. Talent, acclaim, but tethered to my caution. Real, Jordan muttered. That's what I want. For us. But the booth curtain parted, Mia urgent. Alex, press outside. And Ethan's here. Demanding to see you. My blood iced. Stall him. Jordan, kitchen. Theo. I'm with you, he said, rising. No question. Ethan waited in the foyer. Flanked by his goons. Suit impeccable. Smile a shark's. Harper. The man of the hour. Or should I say, the hourglass. Sand running out. Out. I said, voice low thunder. You're trespassing. He chuckled, waving a sheaf of papers. Lawsuit, Alex. Defamation, harassment. Your chef assaulted my property. That bottle? Worth more than his salary. And the rumors? Slander. I'll bury you. Theo stepped forward, subtle but there. A shoulder brush, solidarity. Sir, the exit's that way. Ethan's eyes narrowed on him. Who are you? The pretty pool boy. Heat flared in my chest. Not shame, but fury, pure and clarifying. He's staff, valued, unlike you, Ethan. This ends. Apologize, publicly, or I countersue for everything. The leaks, the lies, the hate you peddle like it's vintage scotch. His laugh faltered just a hair. Hate? I'm protecting investments. This city's changing too soft, too. Rainbow. People want normal. Normal. I spat, stepping closer, the room shrinking to us. Is love. Is trust. Is owning your shit. Get out, or the cops do it for you. Security materialized, called by Mia. Bless her. And Ethan backed toward the door, venom twisting his features. You'll regret this. All of you freaks. The door closed, but the echo lingered. The foyer exhaled. Theo clapped my shoulder, brief, electric. That was calm. Powerful. Calm. The word anchored me. Not done yet. That afternoon blurred into crisis mode. Calls to allies. A statement drafted. Hearth stands for love in all forms. Join us or leave. But by evening, as the dinner shift ramped, exhaustion hit like a wave. I retreated to the office, door ajar, watching the floor through the one-way glass. Jordan plated with ferocity, every dish a defiance. Theo wove tables, charm disarming the wary, turning stares to smiles. A knock soft. Theo with 2 plates, risotto, simple, steaming. You didn't eat. Boss's orders. I took it, gesturing him in. Not the boss anymore. Suspended. He sat uninvited, across the desk. Temporary. You're the heart here. We ate in companionable quiet, forks clinking like Morse code. Why stay? I asked finally. After last night. The chaos. Theo shrugged, risotto pearl on his lip. Chaos is life. And you built this. Not the suits. Not the scandals. You. His words, direct, unguarded, stirred something dormant. Not lust, but recognition. A mirror to the man I'd buried under boardrooms. What's your story, Theo? Really? He leaned back, eyes distant. Grew up in Astoria, Greek-Italian mix. Dad split when I came out. Mom tried, but church won. Streets taught resilience, odd jobs, community college on scholarships. Landed here 3 months back. Saw the sign. Seeking souls who serve with heart. Felt like a sign. Souls, I murmured. Poetic. Practical. His smile crinkled his eyes. Food feeds bodies. Places like this? Souls. We talked then, really talked. His dreams of owning a food truck, fusion Greek mix. My fears, the closet's weight. Jordan's name surfaced once. Tentative. He's good, Theo said. Flawed. Like us. The word hung, inclusive, healing. By close, the restaurant hummed. Not full, but alive. Protesters gone. Influencers posting positives. Hearth's real. Love it or leave it. Jordan found me later, office dim. Truce. He held a key, his spare, always. I took it, but hesitated. Time, Jordan. We need it. His face fell, but he nodded. Fair. As he left, Theo passed in the hall, locking eyes with a nod. The night air hit cool as I stepped out, city pulsing with possibility. But Ethan's shadow loomed. The lawsuit filing by dawn, whispers of more leaks. The climax brewed, betrayal's full bloom. And in the quiet, I wondered, could calm be the weapon? The return, not revenge, but revelation? Week 2 of suspension felt like house arrest in a glass palace. My penthouse a gilded cage overlooking a city that no longer felt like mine. Mornings blurred into conference calls with lawyers, afternoons into strategy sessions with a PR firm that specialized in queerfluencer makeovers. Lean in, Alex. My handler cooed over Zoom, her Manhattan bob impeccable. Own the narrative. Post a thirst trap with your fiancé, #lovecooks. Thirst trap. As if my life were a TikTok algorithm, not a imploding empire. Jordan tried, God, he tried. Bouquets arrived daily. Peonies, his apology in petals. Texts evolved from miss you to found the original Vesper photo. Ethan's hand on my knee, but I pushed him off. Evidence attached. I read them in the dim glow of my laptop, heart warring with head. Love wasn't blind. It was bruised, black-eyed from Ethan's punches. But doubt? It whispered louder now, amplified by the silence between us. Hearth soldiered on, Premia's updates, covers at 70%, a viral thread from Theo. Why I serve at Hearth? Because kitchens don't discriminate, garnering hearts and reservations. The kid was a natural, turning tables with wit and warmth, his shifts a beacon in the storm. I watched live streams he'd started, subtle, unassuming, just behind the bar with Theo, mixing drinks and stories. One episode, The Freak Fizz, a bubbly concoction. For those who've been called out and stood up anyway, views spiked. Me? I lurked, anonymous account, thumb hovering over like. Ethan, meanwhile, escalated. The lawsuit dropped Friday. $5 mil in damages. Claims of hostile work environment, laced with homophobic barbs. Plaintiff subjected to unwanted advances in a predatory culture fostered by defendant's lifestyle. Lifestyle. The word curdled my coffee. Countersuit filed Monday. Defamation, intentional infliction, plus a civil rights angle for the targeted harassment. Depositions loomed. A legal tango I'd dance alone. That's when the real conflict ignited. Not in court, but closer. A tip from an insider, Lisa from Ops. Guilt-ridden Ethan had poached Jordan's sous chef, luring him to a consulting gig at his new venture, Eclipse Eats, a sterile chain pitching classic American with a side of conservatism. No drama, no divas. The ads purred. Jordan's rage text hit at midnight. That snake, trying to gut us. Meet me? Please. I did. Neutral ground. A dive in the village, neon open, flickering like a heartbeat. He waited in a booth, hoodie up, looking smaller than the man who'd conquered Top Chef challenges. Alex. His hug was desperate, cologne overwhelming. This ends. Us against him. We ordered wings, greasy, honest, and plotted over beer. Expose him, Jordan urged, eyes fierce. The bar photo, the texts. Drag his ass. Tempting, I admitted, sauce on my fingers. But scorched earth? It burns us too. Then what? Hide forever? The question hung, raw. I thought of Theo's words, real over right. No. Rise. Calm. Show the world what Hearth stands for. Not just food, but us. He softened, hand over mine. Together. I squeezed back. Trying. That trying cracked the next day. A leaked audio, Ethan's voice, slurred at a fundraiser. Harper's a joke. Thinks slinging salads makes him king. And that chef? Bent as a pretzel. I'll sink 'em both. It went viral, backlash swinging our way. Boycott Eclipse trended, allies amplifying. But the cost? Jordan's phone exploded with hate. Slurs and DMs, death threats veiled as concern. He showed up at my penthouse unannounced, pale, shaking. I can't. The calls, the stares at Market. It's too much. We fought then, first real one. In the living room, skyline mocking us through windows. You chose this. I yelled, voice echoing off marble. Bold Jordan, remember? The one who kissed me in public first. That was before. He paced wild. Before it cost everything. My name, tattooed on every food blog. Now? The gay chef who threw a bottle. I did it for you, Alex. To shield. Shield? Or surrender? The accusation slipped, venomous. His face shuddered, hurt blooming. Screw you. He grabbed his jacket. Call when you're done playing martyr. The door slammed, leaving silence thicker than fog. I sank to the floor, back to the wall, tears hot and unbidden. Betrayal's second wave. Not his infidelity proven false, but his fracture under fire. Love wasn't armor. It was glass, shattering on impact. Theo found me there 2 days later. I'd texted Mia for updates. She'd sent him with house call, takeout, Hearth's comfort bowl, mushroom risotto with truffle oil. He knocked soft, entered softer. Mia said you needed fueling. I laughed, hollow, from the couch where I'd marinated in scotch and self-pity. She means well. He set the container down, surveying the mess. Takeout boxes, Unopened mail. No judgment, just presence. Rough. Tsunami. I gestured him to sit. He did, legs stretched, easy as if we were old friends. We ate straight from the carton, forks dueling over grains. Spill, he said, simple. And I did. The whole torrent. Jordan's rage, Ethan's siege, the board's betrayal in boardroom beige. Theo listened, nodding at intervals, his quiet a bomb. Sounds like war, he said finally. But wars end. What's your armistice? Armistice. I mulled it, risotto warm on my tongue. Not sure I want peace. Not with him. Theo's eyes met mine, steady, searching. Him? Or the idea of him? The question pierced, surgical. We talked till midnight. His own scars, a high school beating, faded but felt, dreams deferred. I bartend to learn, he confessed. Not just drinks, people. What breaks them, what mends? Mender, I murmured, the label fitting him like a glove. As he left, hug brief at the door. Brotherly, charged. Something shifted. Not replacement, but possibility. A spark in the ashes. The climax crested midweek. Summons. Mediation at Ethan's firm, neutral as a fox in a henhouse. I arrived armored, best suit. Theo's borrowed cufflinks, solid silver. Engraved, Rise. Jordan at my side, truce fragile as rice paper. The conference room was arctic. Glass walls, Ethan at the head, lawyers flanking like sentries. Harper. Ethan's smile was oil. Brought the arm candy? Jordan tensed, but I raised a hand. Let's cut the theater. Your claims are fiction. Mine? Ironclad. Bluff met counterbluff. Evidence swapped. Accusations volleyed. Then Ethan's ace. A video, grainy, from Hearth's alley cam. Jordan, post-shift, arguing with the Sioux, now poached, voices raised. Tell Harper I said no. I'm not his puppet. Cut to Jordan pocketing a flash drive, expression guilty. My stomach dropped. Jordan paled beside me. That's out of context. The drive? Recipes. Backups. Ethan's lawyer pounced. Or payoff docs. Blackmail material. The room spun. Betrayal's zenith, not just doubt, but display. I stood, chair scraping. Meeting's over. Outside. In the elevator's descent, Jordan grabbed my arm. Alex, swear. Save it. I yanked free, heart a war drum. Go home. We're done. He crumpled, but the doors opened, spitting me into the lobby's bustle. Alone. Raw. That night, Hearth called not Jordan but Theo. Emergency shift. You in. I was back in hoodie, incognito again, but this time as lifeline. The restaurant thrummed. Full house, energy electric. Protesters dwindled to one cranky sign. Media camped hopefully. I bussed tables, cleared plates, anonymous in the fray. Theo spotted me mid-shift, grin flashing. Undercover boss? Naughty. Needed the air. We worked side by side. Him charming a tense foretop, me refilling waters with quiet grace. In the kitchen's heat, Jordan avoided my eyes, plating with mechanical fury. Clothes loomed, and the storm broke. Ethan himself, bold or broken, strode in at 11:45, no goons, just desperation in his eyes. Harper. A word. The room hushed. Theo tensed at the bar. Mia hovered. I emerged from shadows, apron tied. Out. Not till you hear. His voice cracked, whiskey worn. I was wrong. The video? Set up. My guy edited it. But the hate. It's eating me. Lost my wife, board pulling funding. You win. Win. The word tasted ash. Not about winning. About people. He nodded. Deflated. Truce? Drop suits. I glanced at Theo, his nod subtle. At Jordan, watching from the pass, hope flickering. Public apology. Full. And donate $500K to LGBTQ youth shelters. Or we dance in court. Done. He extended a hand, trembling. I shook it, the grip sealing not victory, but mercy. As he left, the room erupted cheers, hugs. Jordan approached, tentative. Alex. Tomorrow, I said. talk. But the real return started with Theo at the bar post-close. You did it. Calm. Like a boss. Like us? I corrected, clinking glasses. The lesson brewed, humanistic, hard one. Strength in vulnerability. Love in letting go. Yet the night held one more twist. The deepest cut. The path to dawn. The morning after Ethan's surrender dawned crystalline. The kind of November blue that made you believe in second acts. I'd crashed at the penthouse alone. Jordan's texts unread till sunrise. Proud of you. Can we try? I replied simple. Office. Noon. Closure or chapter 2. Who knew? But as I suited up, mirror reflecting a man less haunted, Theo's cufflinks caught the light. Rise. Yeah. Hearth opened to fanfare. Local news crews at the curb. Not vultures but validators. Come back at Hearth. CEOs stand for love. Reservations surged, a waiting list snaking digital blocks. I arrived early, slipping in the back to watch the ballet. Mia choreographing the front, Jordan in the kitchen weaving magic from mundane. Theo, at the host stand, greeting with that effortless grace, turning strangers into familiars. Noon sharp, Jordan entered the office. Ties loosened, eyes earnest. Alex, last night, you were incredible. Forgiving him? That's strength I don't have. Forgiveness isn't absolution, I said, gesturing the chair. It's release. For me. He nodded, leaning forward. I get it. The bottle, the freeze, fear talking. But losing you? That's the real wreck. We unpacked it then, layer by layer. The Napa dreams deferred. The closet's claustrophobia. Ethan's probe exposing fissures we'd papered over. I love you, he said, voice cracking. Boldly. But if it's too broken. I reached across the desk, hand over his. Not broken. Bent. We straightened together or apart. Therapy? Public? Your call. His smile broke. Tentative sun. Together. Public. Rings off fingers on feeds. We kissed then, sealing, not salvaging. Promise renewed. Fragile but fierce. But the true return unfolded that evening. Unscripted. The dinner rush peaked. Tables aglow. Laughter weaving through clinks and sizzles. I worked the floor openly now, no hoodie. Just me in rolled sleeves. Chatting tables owning the space. A family at two-top. Mom, Dad, teenage son with rainbow pin. Saw the news, Dad said gruff. Takes guts. My boys, like you. Thanks for showing it's okay. Their son blushed, meeting my eyes. Yeah, thanks. That was the spark. Word spread. A hush fell as I took the mic from the sound system. Improvised, raw. Folks, New York, America, we're Hearth. Not just a place for plates, but for people. Last week's hurt exposed us. But here's the lesson. Disrespect dims no one. Return calm, and you light the room. Applause thundered. Phones raised not to capture, but connect. Jordan emerged, apron on, pulling me into a side hug. Public, proud. Cameras flashed. Hearts swelled. Theo watched from the bar, pouring celebratory rounds. Later, as the crowd thinned, he slid me a drink. The Harper Heart, bourbon, bitters. A twist of lime for the tang life gives. I sipped, warmth spreading. Poetic again. Practical. His grin was easy, but eyes held depth, admiration, perhaps more. You taught it. Calm return. We talked post-close, the five of us, Mia, Jordan, Theo, a lingering server, over leftover risotto in the empty dining room. Stories swapped. Mia's coming out at prom, Jordan's first pride. My queen's diner days dodging slurs. Laughter healed, stitching wounds. But humanism's core hit at last call. A lone patron, older man, silver temples, suit rumpled. Nursed a scotch at the bar. I'd seen his type. Weary executive, eyes distant. Another? Theo asked. He shook his head. Just. Winding down. Rough year. I sat beside him, instinct. Join the club. Alex Harper. His eyes widened, recognition, then relief. The CEO. Read about. Everything. Everything's relative. I signaled Theo for a round. What's yours? He exhaled, unfolding. Widower, son estranged after coming out. Blamed myself. Thought I failed him. You didn't. The words came sure. Theo nodding beside us. Love's not failure. It's showing up. Like this place did for me. We talked till 1. Strangers to allies, his card left with a promise. Call my boy. Tell him dads can learn. As he left, lighter, Jordan pulled me aside. You're glowing. This you, it's magic. But the night's gift was Theo's quiet aside, as we locked up. Proud to serve under you. With you. Under. I teased. Partners, maybe. Food truck collab? Your Greek mech's my twist. His laugh rang true. Deal. Weeks blurred to months. Ethan honored the truce. Apology video, donation wired. Eclipse folded under boycott weight. Hearth thrived. Expansions greenlit. Board humbled. Evelyn even waving a rainbow flag at the holiday party. Jordan and I, public now, feeds full of vineyard weekends, kitchen collabs. The ring, upgraded. Shared on Instagram live. No more hiding. Love loud. Yet the romance deepened elsewhere, subtle as a slow sear. Theo and I, colleagues to confidence, sparks to steady flame. Late nights planning that truck, his hand brushing mine over blueprints. Jordan saw it first, gracious in fade. He's good for you, he said one night, over breakup beers. Real. Go. No acrimony. Just evolution. Human, messy, kind. By spring 2026, the truck launched, Hearth on Wheels, Fusion Fire in Astoria lots. Theo at the helm, me consulting, Jordan guest starring. Crowds gathered, not for scandal but sustenance. That first service, as lines snaked and laughter rose, I caught Theo's eye over the counter. Told you, he said. Rise. The lesson? Disrespect disarms if you let it. Return calm, and it teaches, vulnerability's the strongest sauce. Love, familial, fraternal, romantic, doesn't demand perfection. It asks presence. In America's heart, fractured but fierce, we fed it back, one plate at a time. And in the quiet after, with Theo's arm around my waist under city stars, I knew. The real hearth? It's us. Unbroken.